everybody, and welcome back to the Diverse Beats podcast. So this week we are looking at how to pitch your track to Spotify playlist creators. Now this can be editorial, it can be just general Spotify playlist creators, and just how to optimize the chances of getting a playlist and then increasing the streams. So of course it's just me and Serhat again this week. So hi Serhat.
Hello everyone. Thanks for joining.
Yes, thank you very much. So, personally, I'm really excited about this podcast this week. So thank you very much for suggesting it. When I was doing my research, it was like going down the rabbit hole. I was just finding so much stuff. So yeah, definitely excited to do it. So as ever, we'll kind of start from what is a playlist creator?
First and foremost, I would like to apologize for the bright screen because of the sun inside, because you can't really see me. We are recording the podcast at a very early time this week because we are both busy in the rest of the day and the rest of the week as well in the weekend, so we won't be able to record it except for now. So once again, accept our apologies, my apologies, because it's my side. Back to the subject. What
bragging? Yeah, you have the sun, we'll have the cold.
I had to rub it in, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry, it's just so hot in here.
Got the AC on and it's not helping. Oh man.
There's more problems.
So what is a playlist creator? Is that correct? Mm-hmm. A playlist creator, I believe, in my opinion, in my experience, as always, is a group of people or a company that has got multiple or a single playlists on a specific genre, which helps cater music for that genre. So if it's a house playlist, then it is a house playlist. So if they have multiple playlists like we do, we have about 13 playlists at the moment for all specific different genres, then that's what we do there. We are also a promotion company, but on Spotify, we are also named after being a playlist creator, because we have got different playlists dedicated for designated different types of genres, and that's what a playlist creator is.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, I don't think I have anything else to add in terms of what it is. It's quite straightforward, and I think the beauty of Spotify playlist creators, or just a playlist creator in general, like anybody can do it. Like, you know, if you just set up your own playlist, like you are a creator, you know, it can be for moods, it can be for anything. So but it's kind of making sure you're finding the right ones that is going to, as an artist, help your expanded I can't say the word expenditure and exposure. I should have just stuck with it, exposure, really, but I was trying to be clever, trying to be smart.
That's good. And the new book, the new words of vocabulary, avoiding all the complaints that we had in the recent weeks.
Definitely, absolutely. But we're not going to say it this week, promise, even though I just said it now, but that was an example. So yeah, I mean, as I said, I can't put anything else really to that. So yeah, it's just finding the right ones that are going to be really beneficial for you as an artist and give you a bit more credibility in the real world. So why are they important? Like, how can they help an artist to reach that exposure and to reach their goals of how many streams they want to get?
Well, that's very, very basic, very simple. I mean, not basic, but I mean, it's basic. It's a basic question, a simple answer to it. They can help you to get organic, real, original exposure on Spotify. These kind of playlists tend to have, obviously not all of them, but they tend to have high numbers of followers, which you need to be very careful when you're checking out these playlists. Okay, check out their followers. There are different websites that helps you identify to see if their followers are legit or they are bots. So whenever you find a playlist that seems very attractive, 100,000 or maybe 200,000 or 50,000 followers on their playlist, cool, but let's check it out. Get the extension, put it on the website, check it out to see if the followers are real. Once you understand if the followers are real or not, let's just say they are real, you then find the contact, get in touch with the playlist creator, and then obviously comes the answer to your question, which is these kind of playlists will help you get organic, real exposure, streams, followers, monthly listeners always.
Mhm.
That's the way these kind of playlists and the playlist creators will help you to get, big on Spotify.
Yeah, and just coming off from a point that you've just made, how can an artist, if let's say they found a really great Spotify playlist that they really want to be pitching to, and they want to be featured on, how can they tell whether they're organic or bots in terms of the listeners and the followers that they have?
Well, like I said earlier as well in my previous the part I was just talking about, they can check out the playlists extension by placing the extension into one's website, which I don't want to mention the right name right now because I don't want to feel like I'm advertising some of the other websites. But there are a lot of websites that does this. They are designated for this kind of purpose, and they can check out the playlist itself, and the website itself shows if the followers are legit or not.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they do.
Perfect.
You just gotta do, dig deep.
Dig deep, yeah.
A lot of people, they stop searching after the first page of Google. I am someone that goes until God knows how many pages, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, until because the internet is almost infinite. You know what I mean? It's almost infinite. There is infinite amount of pages, infinite amount of possibilities that are out there. But it's people just don't seem to want to put in the effort to go and find what they're looking for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's that time, isn't it? And people kind of, the attention span is so kind of limited now, I think. Well, I don't think that we're limited. I think there's so much content to kind of consume that it's it can be a bit overwhelming, and it's like, oh, I found this, I found one answer, let me just go off and do what else I need to do. So no, I mean, I think they are really, really important, and they can be that kind of bridge, I guess you would say, in kind of having, I don't know, 10,000 listeners or streams to having 20,000. And if you're on a playlist that is doing really, really well, has a lot of kind of returning customers, if you like, and a lot of returning listeners, then you could be getting your daily streams up so much higher. I mean, personally for me, I know when I've got on a playlist and all of a sudden it's just rocketed and I'm like, whoa, okay, I just go on to Spotify for Artists one day and I'm like, what is going on? And I go on to kind of my data and see why that would be. And it can be playlists and doing really, really well. So any playlist kind of support is great, as long as they're organic and as long as they're real time, and that that they're the right genre for you as well, because there are so many playlists out there that you could just keep pitching to. You could pitch a rock one if you're but as long, you have to make sure that it's the right genre and it's the right kind of mood and feel for your track, for it to have the best exposure and the best opportunity of doing really, really well and appearing at the top of the playlist. So definitely something to consider. So kind of the overall question for the podcast, but we'll do it as a general question as well, is how can an artist pitch to playlist creators? What can they do to find them and then be pitching to them? So it's kind of two questions in one.
Okay, well, firstly, you have to find the designated and dedicated playlist to your that suits your genre. That's the first part. Once you do that, you then try to find their contact on Spotify. If it's not listed on Spotify, you can always Google and Google the creator's name and the playlist name on Google, and you will definitely find their contact email or their website or something like that, and you can get in touch, through Google and the actual the name of the playlist and the creator's name. And all you have to do is just someone who's playlist actually might not be using emails, but they might be using a third-party company websites, which is like Submit Hub kind of thing. They do tend to use these kind of websites as well to sort of like have everything listed, and they do it more professional rather than just having to be bombarded via emails, because as the numbers grow bigger in terms of the followers on Spotify, the amount of submissions you're going to get are going to increase at the same time. So they are kind of working parallel to one another. As your Spotify followers go up, the submissions are going to go up. So your inbox is going to get cluttered. You know what I mean? You're going to receive. So these kind of websites, not all of them might be using their emails, but some of them might be using a third-party company as well. So if you can't come across to the email, I promise you, you will be coming across to a website such as Submit Hub or something like that, that these kind of playlist creators will be using. So you can submit your song through that platform, and then obviously you will definitely 100% get an answer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think Submit Hub is really, really great. And I think we've mentioned it previously before, you know, you have the standard credits, and then you have the premium credits. If you can do the premium, of course that does cost money, but you know, it is much better when you are guaranteed an answer. They have to reply then, and if the creator doesn't reply or the blog person doesn't reply, then you actually get a refund, which is great. So it means that you are 100% getting some feedback there, and I think it's great. You just need to make sure you are researching and looking at their content before you are pitching to them, because it could be a waste of credit, and it could be a wasted email if you're going to do it via email. I mean, if you are going to do it through email or Instagram, you don't have to do like a big press release or anything like that necessarily. Just an email to say, oh, you know, I've listened to this playlist, and I think I have similar sounds. To name people on the playlist, show them that you have taken the time to listen, or you are an active listener, because that's going to mean a lot more to them, rather than if you've just kind of gone through Spotify or you've gone through a search engine and just found these random playlists. It's more about kind of what they can do for you rather than what you can do for them. So you do have to treat it like that kind of relationship. So yes, you're pitching for you, but make sure that you're kind of showing that you are an avid listener or supporter of them. And that is definitely going to kind of get you a bit further in the submission process. And so name some artists that you've seen on their playlists, and say who you have similar sounds to. So that then helps them to kind of know which playlist, if you're just pitching to them as an overall rather than one specific playlist, it kind of gives them an idea of which playlist that you could fit into. And possibly, you never know, if you build up that really good relationship with them, they might place you on multiple playlists, especially if they find that you're doing really well. So we say all the time, it is about kind of networking and making sure that you're building those relationships and the positive relationships, even with playlist creators, because they are people, they are humans, they do like to be treated with respect, and they do want to be known that they're being supported within the industry from artists as well. So it could just be a general email for you, or if you wanted to send a press release, then that's absolutely fine. I don't think it's necessary, really. They're not really looking at kind of the message behind the song as such, unless it's kind of a mood playlist that you're wanting to pitch them to. So just general email. You can do all social media. Some have like their Instagram handles or Twitter handles or Facebook pages available in their about section. So if you are going on Spotify, it does take time, and you have to maybe even just have a whole day of just doing Spotify playlist creator contacts, just because it does take a lot of time, but it will be really, really effective. But if you go on, say you find a great playlist that you like on Spotify, it will say playlist by, and then have the account holder, so you can click on there, and sometimes it will send you to their profile, and then it will have some more information on them. It might have their email address, it might have their Instagram handles, just so then it's a direct point of contact. But of course, as Serhat says, they do have it on like sites as Submit Hub, Groover, things like that. So Daily Playlist is a good one as well. Definitely. So there are loads of third-party pages that we'll kind of get onto a little bit later as well. So in terms of, so we've kind of gone over how to pitch and how to kind of make sure you're successful in that. But when would you say is a great time for an artist to pitch? So let's say they've got a new song coming out. Should it be on release day? Should it be before? Should it be after? When is the kind of general rule in terms of playlisting, would you say? Because I think for radio and for blogs and magazines, they want it at least 2 weeks before, if not more. Whereas I think playlists, for me personally, I think playlist creators is a bit different. But I'm interested to hear what you've got to say about it.
Well, in my opinion, obviously the song needs to be released in order for you to be able to pitch it to a playlist, because how are you supposed to pitch a song
Add
to a
it.
playlist curator if the song is not released. If you don't have a link,
Yeah.
if you can get a pre-release link for that, which I don't know if it's possible or not. Not a Spotify fan, as you know. So
As we've covered plenty of times.
but if that's possible and you can do it, then yeah, by all means necessary, go get your pre-release link and then pitch that to the creator. But if that's not possible, then you're gonna have to, because you've got no other choice but wait until the release date. So once the release is out, you can then immediately start pitching it to as many playlist creators as possible, and then I promise you, you will get answers back. It doesn't matter how many followers you might have or how many listeners, monthly listeners you might have on Spotify, you will eventually get a reply back, a positive reply back, as long as your final product is good.
Yeah,
That's what matters the most. You know what I mean? If the product, if the song is not up to their standards, it doesn't matter how much money you are willing to pay, because these people are at the same time, they have a brand. They have to protect the brand, and they have to do that by, I mean, by all means necessary, at all costs. They have to do that. So you might be willing to pay double the amount, because don't forget, these people, they do charge money. Mostly, they charge money. It's what they do. They are playlist creators. You know what I mean? That's kind of how they make their living, and maybe not the only income stream they have, but it is a part of their income streams, their revenue. So they do charge money. So regardless of how much money you are willing to pay, maybe you are being very insistent about, but please, I will pay you this much. No. If your song is not up to their standards, you will get declined. So make sure your final product that you're going to release is a good product, good, well mixed and mastered, and it is sounding quite well. Don't forget, on Google you can find information about, every single streaming platform or MP3 sales platform. They have different, it's almost similar, but somewhat still slightly different from one another, streaming standards about about the volume and the the quality of the music, basically, because pardon me, some of the streaming platforms, that they do have different requirements as for the final master cuts. And these is different. Spotify is different, iTunes is different, Beatport is obviously different, so you need to also pay attention to that. And whichever platform you're going to be focusing on more, that's where you need to pay more attention. And at the same time, you know what I mean? That's how you should mix and master your song. So if your main target is going to be Spotify, then search the requirements for Spotify, how many decibels it should be, and what quality, blah blah blah, and then you need to focus on that. And might get you. If you can't master a song, that's fine. I couldn't master my song for a very long time. I've been on the master my very own song for the last 3 years. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Get your song mastered according to Spotify. That's the playlist. That's the playlist. Owners you're going to go for. So playlist, Spotify playlists. Cool. That's your target. Master your song according to their needs, and then make sure it sounds good. It sounds decent. Everything's being heard. Every single element in the song have been evenly distributed in the what was that name? I forgot the name. When you panning this stuff, there's a fields. The what fields? Come on.
When you what doing the thing? When you what?
When you're mixing a track and you're panning the instruments left, right, and audio spectrum. That's the one. The audio within the audio field, basically, everything is evenly mixed and mastered and panned, so everything's being heard correctly, and then your final master is sounding good enough. And then then you can start pushing your song once the song is out. That's it.
No, I mean, that's a great level of detail, and I think it's absolutely something that people do need to think of, and that's even before they even release the track, obviously. And that goes for sending it over to radios, it goes for sending it over to bloggers, it kind of goes for any terms of promotion and release. It's definitely something that you need to think about. I mean, for me, I would say I don't think that they I don't think that you can submit, you don't have like you have a pre-release link where people can pre-release your track, but I don't think it would be worth sending it necessarily to the playlist creators, because they want it there and then. You want to kind of minimize the amount of time and effort that they kind of go into it with. So you want to make it as easy for them as possible. Definitely. So I would say maybe on release day is a great way to do it. You know, sit down. I know release day is all fun, you know, and you want to go out and you want to have fun and celebrate, and that's absolutely true. And you can do that. Do you not celebrate your release?
On the release day, I'm here sitting, I'm making another song. I don't really go out. Do people actually do that?
It's a big thing. I mean, for me, I mean, on my last release, I did the same as you. I was just like, okay, it's out, cool, brilliant, happy, well. And then I was writing another one. But like, people go out, like people, like, it's like Christmas, honestly. Like,
nah, but I mean, not like Christmas. Not like Christmas, no way.
It is good food. Wow. No, I'm joking, not like Christmas. So but like, like they'll go out with their friends and they'll celebrate, and then if they've got some radio play on the day, it'll be like, woo, listen to it in the club or whatever, in the bar. Like, honestly, and I do get it, because I think, like, you've worked so hard. It's like if you've got a new job, like, you go out and celebrate or something, like, so, you know, you've worked so hard on something. Go out and celebrate. You've spent hours and hours and hours listening to the same bit of the track that irritates you, and, you know, trying to make it perfect. So I do get it. And I'm not saying that like I haven't done it, but on my last one I didn't, but I was happy with it.
I swear I've never heard this before. It's a release day celebrations. Especially, I feel like, especially it being like Christmas. Oh my God.
It's a slight exaggeration, but everybody loves Christmas and everybody loves release day. So
I like Christmas. I'm not gonna lie.
And release day, hopefully.
I mean, I love release days, but I just celebrate in a different way by making another song.
I feel like I'm going to set you a challenge here and now, and this is for everybody to see. Your next release, you don't have to go out and get drunk, that's cool, but you have to celebrate it in a sense. So go out and have a meal or something, chill for the evening. You can spend the day writing a song or doing whatever you want to do, you know, pitching to playlist creators, being there for 6-7 hours a day, sending it out. But in the evening, you have to go have fun.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to put in progress. I'm going to make it happen.
So when's your release day? Let me note it down.
My next release day is actually 24th of July. It's a
24th of July.
It's a month from now.
So there's some free promo for you. I've got it in my head.
Yeah.
24th of July, you'll be out having a nice meal, doing what you're doing, having fun with your new release. And there you go.
Yeah, banging tech house track. I've actually collaborated with one of my friends. So
nice.
Yeah, it's going to be actually published on Handpicked Music, one of our collaborators that we actually do business with. It's going to be published there, but we are aiming to get it signed.
Cool.
I mean, when I say release, it's not going to be released. It's not going to be official release on platforms. It's only going to be published on YouTube on Handpicked Music. But then we are aiming to getting it signed to a big label, hopefully working towards it's going to happen.
Nice, love it. Well, 24th, you'll be out for a meal as well.
That's it.
Done. And then when you get it signed, then you have to go have another celebration.
Then I'm celebrating. You know? I swear. When we get this song signed to that label, I am 100% celebrating it. That's it.
There we go. That's your Christmas.
That's it.
But going back, so we always go off topic, don't we? But no, so I would agree with you. I would say the day of your release, sorry, I don't know if you can hear me, day of release, go out there, find these playlist creators, or even you can do your research before and get a list of people that you want to pitch it to, maybe even draft some emails, draft some messages, and then a release day is going to be less work for you. Just go.
That's it, like that.
So it's about working effectively. But I would say probably don't pitch after don't pitch after 2. We'll say no. I'll give you a bit of leeway. Don't pitch after a month, because the playlisters want things that are new. They want things that are current. You want to appear at the top of the page. I'm not saying that you'll be taken out. Each playlist operates differently, so you have to look at their terms and conditions as well. I mean, some Spotify, they change it every week. Some change it every month. But I would say kind of just make sure that you're looking at me as if you disagree, and it's really funny.
You know, I disagree.
I was like, don't look at Sarah. Don't look at Sarah.
You finish what I'm gonna say. Finish what I'm gonna say.
I just think a month kind of, that's okay. That's where your main pitching should be.
Yeah.
But you can pitch after, but I just think your success is going to be within the first month. Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm listening. I swear.
You're like,
no.
Carry on.
I swear I'm listening. I'm just focused listening. Honestly.
Okay.
I swear.
But I mean, I finished what I was going to say now, so you can go and tear me to shreds.
What my point was, when you said after a month, don't pitch it, or your first target should be, your main target should be the first month, and I'm not completely disagreeing with that, but slightly disagreeing with that, because here is my point. If a particular playlist curator haven't heard the song, even after 6 months of its release, wouldn't that still be a new song for the creator because they haven't heard it?
Yeah, I get that. And that's
the only thing I'm kind of trying to look at it from, because they've not heard it. It hasn't been played, let's just say, almost anywhere, and that kind of still makes it like a unheard, which is true, a track, an unheard track, which could still be classified as a new song for the whole playlist. That's the approach I'm kind of trying to take. If that makes sense. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? It
makes sense, and I get it, but
go for it. Go for it. All good.
Because if the artist has pitched to them, let's say the first month, and they haven't picked it up, these Spotify creators, and that's fine. But then if they then discover it on by themselves 6 months later, they can just add it to the playlist. Do you know what I'm saying?
So what? So
where are you getting this 6 month thing from?
I don't know. That was just a number. It could be 7.
But like, I get that it's new to them, but surely, let's say 6, 7, even 2 months after, the artist's going to have a new song. So if they're going to pitch to them again, and they really, really want that playlist creator to feature their stuff, they're going to just pitch it again for a new song, no?
I mean, in my opinion, no, because if the song hasn't been pitched to any playlist, even after 4 or 5 months or 12 months after its release date, and it's got almost no visible streams on Spotify, because, as you know, Spotify only starts showing the streams after 1,000 streams, 1,001, then it starts showing on the platform. So if the song hasn't got even up to 1,000 streams after 6, 7 months or after a year, and you then decide to, pitch the song, and the creator listens to the song and says, well, it's a decent song. Where has it been all this time? Cool. Give us your money. We're going to place it. Done. I mean, that's the kind of way I believe they should do. They should work in that sense, because it's practically still a new song which nobody hasn't heard. And there are stories out there which I'm not a part of it, but I know the person who was a part of it actually ended up working with this guy on numerous occasions. I don't know if you would remember the song Look Right Through by Storm Queen. That morning.
It was a preview.
Remember that song? That morning.
It's
like an old school house, not old school, but like 6, 7 years, maybe 8 years old song. It's a house song. So Storm Queen, Look Right Through, is a song, well, what still is a song, it's a banger. It was a song that was released, let's just say 10 years ago. Okay, I don't know the exact release date, so I'm not gonna lie. It didn't get picked up. It didn't do well
Yeah.
on its release. A few years after, a good house producer, house DJ, his name is MK, Mark Kinchin, an American producer. You know MK, done
When I'm
amazing work.
17.
Oh, I love that tune. I love that tune. You know what I mean? That's a tune. Anyway, he picks up the song and he does a remix. Now,
Yeah.
the original version was not heard by almost anybody. Now, the remix that MK did went viral.
Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to say is, okay, it's a remix, it's not the original version, but again, it was released, didn't do absolutely nothing. Or let's just say, I don't want to demolish the whole thing. I don't want to say didn't do nothing. It didn't do as well as the remix. But the remix comes about and then smashes it. So it's still practically a new song, you know what I mean? It was released some time ago and then someone picks it up and then makes it a little bit different, a lot different.
Makes it new.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not similar to your point. I know it's different, but it kind of resonates with what I said because it was there, didn't get picked, a new version gets picked and then smashes it.
No, I'm not arguing or disputing what you're saying. What I'm saying is kind of from a point of view of this artist has got a song and they're then thinking of how can they, like, how long should they wait until they pitch it? So that guy who wrote the song could have pitched it within the first month and it didn't get picked up, and that's fine, but he still pitched it. Do you know what I mean? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's the artist's responsibility to ensure it gets
definitely.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously, MK came over. He's done amazingly, and that happens with quite a few songs. I mean, a lot of the songs that you hear now, I think, good example is Professor Green's "Just Be Good to Me."
Yeah.
You know, that whole hook and the whole chorus, that was a song in like the 60s, wasn't it? And then they just brought it back, but people didn't realize that. I mean, when I was young and that song came out, I was like, oh, this is so good, you know. And then like I heard it when I started to get into more like 60s music and stuff, and I heard it and I was like, Professor Green robbed it, you know, like, so songs do kind of make a come around, a bit like fashion in a sense. But
sampling, it's called sampling. People do sample old school stuff and turn them into new stuff. It happens all the day. Sampling.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I do get your point, and I'm not shutting it down completely at all. I'm just saying. Just saying. That, yeah. So okay, let's go. Let's say from if the artist, brand new song, they haven't sampled, they haven't done anything like that. It's, let's imagine remixes aren't a thing. It's not going to be picked up. Would you say up to a month for them to be pitching?
See, I'm a person that doesn't like limiting itself. I don't like limiting myself. So I wouldn't say, in my opinion, if a song has not been heard, it is still practically a new song. It is. Because it hasn't been.
I say that for anything.
I mean, that's just the way I look at it. You know, you ask me for my opinion, and that's just the way I look at it. I mean, if it's not been pitched, even after 6-7 months of its release, and you just recently got the funds to be able to pitch a song, because past 6 months you've not been able to save up the funds, but it took you 6 months or 7 months or a year. And you finally got the funds. Now you're going to start pitching. I don't think that's going to cause any problems in terms of it being a year old or it being 6 months old. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's because people don't. The creators, they really just look at the quality of the song. If it's good enough, you know, if it's good enough, you know, if it's going to actually make the cut to be placed on the playlist, and then it just depends on the price list, really.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So, I mean, I think we both agree in terms of you should pitch it after the release, as soon as you can.
Exactly.
And then you can always come back to it if you want to a boost in streams or it didn't get picked up by the people you wanted to. Yeah, I'll meet you in the middle. We'll go there.
That's it.
Cool. So before we have any more arguments, we'll move
That's
on to the
argument.
next one.
Great. That's it.
What tools can you use to pitch? So we have actually touched on this a little bit. So we've had Submit Hub and things like that. But what other opportunities are out there where an artist can kind of, as a third party, be using to pitch their music to Spotify creators?
I mean, I'd say email, it being the most professional after the third party websites. I wouldn't recommend Instagram because it is so unprofessional. You come across, you would just make yourself come across as I hate to say the word, but it's desperate. Just don't do that. Don't I mean, don't try to do that because I don't know. I mean, if you can't find any other contact detail, Instagram should be your last option.
Okay.
But email, and then the third party companies like the other websites, Submit Hub and Daily Playlist Curator, blah blah blah. Exactly, the playlist. Yeah. So all these kind of websites, they should be your priority. If you genuinely cannot find anything, but you happen to find these people, you stumble upon their Instagram account, yes, try to ask them. Don't submit a song through Instagram. They will not even care to look, because don't forget, when you send them a message, it goes into their request box. It doesn't go into their actual inbox straight away. So when they see, what, are you submitting a song through Instagram? Get out of here. See you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Ask when you messaging to these creators through Instagram, ask them about their contact details. How can I submit a song? Do you happen to have an email? Would you happen to use another platform for this? Please let me know so I can submit my song. That's it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There, and I think they really appreciate that. It shows that you want to make sure that the pitch is correct and that you are serious about it. And I think using things such as Submit Hub and Daily Playlist, it just optimizes your chances of finding people as well. Like, so you can obviously do playlist creators, you can do blogs, you can do journalists, anything like that. And I think it just opens up such a broad aspect of places that maybe you hadn't even known of, you hadn't heard of, you hadn't discovered before, when you're doing your research. And whereas you've got everything in front of you here, just as I said before, make sure that you are checking their stuff out and listening to it, maybe waiting a day before you go ahead and submit to them straight away, unless you're 100% sure that they are your genre, that you know that you have similar sounds in there. And they do usually on Submit Hub do like genre matches and what's the word I'm after for? Engagement, like how well it can be, how well your exposure can be if you're featured on them, if you're going like on Instagram stories and things like that, because you can now pitch to influencers, that you can have data on how many views they get on their stories or on their posts and things like that. So just make sure you're checking out all the data to make sure that you are pitching to someone that is going to be influential for you as well, and that you really, really support what they're doing. I've mentioned it in a previous podcast before, but Burstimo have just started a website called Playlist Hunter, which is really, really great. So that is somewhere where you put in your genre, you put in like your mood, whatever it is that you're kind of wanting to find in a playlist, you'll put that in. And it's all real time, and they have come up with a whole list of name playlists that are in that genre or in that mood, their email address, the playlist creator's name and their email address and contact information, and then their Instagram as well, possibly. And so that's just a great way. So I believe there's a basic package, but I don't think you get the contact information in that one. I think in the second one it's only like $11 or £11 something
monthly
for
one-time
for a month.
Okay.
So it is really great, and obviously if you're releasing constantly, it just means then you're going to get in touch with a lot of playlist creators as well. And that's just a great way to build those connections, and by having the email and having the Instagram handle, it means if not everybody will have an email that they can see. So it then means you can go on their Instagram and, as you said, ask them for an email address. So that's definitely something to use and to consider. It's relatively new. I think they've only been doing it for about a year now, but it's for me, I've used it and I found quite a lot of playlist creators and been featured on a lot of playlists in there. Some of them do charge. Sorry?
How many monthly listeners do you have?
Now?
Yeah.
Not many, because I haven't released in a while. Let me have a look. Missing me, baby. I'm not going to say it because it's really low. but I haven't released since February. So I was, we won't get too much on it because it's such a sensitive subject. My release was meant to be out this month, and then we're having a few issues with it. But then, like, obviously the more because I've got a lot of kind of things that are kind of backed up just because of obviously what happened in January. It kind of meant other priorities in life were kind of happening, and we had a lot to sort out, and so obviously, and that's just kind of music in general. I think like certain things in life happens, and sometimes your music does have to kind of take a step back for a bit, but we're back and we're ready. And so we've got quite a few projects that are kind of backlogged and ready to come out. We just need to make sure that they're kind of the right time. As I said before, there's those different elements that can create and contribute to the success of a track. It can be what's happening in the world. Is it a summer track? Is it a winter track? Those kind of things. So the one we're working on now is quite a big summer track, I think, and that should be coming out next month.
Brilliant.
Fingers crossed. So ask me when that comes out and then I'll tell you.
When's it coming out?
No. I mean, ask me about my monthly listeners then.
I mean, when it comes out, I'll ask you then. Cool. Don't worry.
Day of release, I'll be like, yeah, so I've got this ready. Well, hopefully, you never know, it might be a flop.
We're gonna see.
But yeah, and then there's also Spotify pitching as well. So that's something that not everybody realizes that they can pitch to Spotify editorial playlists. So if you just go on Spotify for artists, once your distributor has released the track to Spotify and it's in their stores, there'll be a little section where it says pitch a song. And then that's where they'll give you loads of different options. So you can be really, really specific in terms of the genre, in terms of the mood, instruments that are kind of in it. And then that just helps them to already identify the kind of genre, the playlist, it can go into. And they also do like local ones. So we have, I think this is Nottingham, and you guys will probably have one as well. So there's regional playlists, which is really, really good. This is Cyprus, yeah. So you just need to make sure that you're putting the location in as well of where you're based. So then you can start to appear on them, and that's really great as well. And then your pitch is kind of everything, and I'll kind of go a bit more into detail on what Spotify themselves have said that they look for. In fact, we may as well talk about it now if you're ready in terms of editorial playlisting. I guess we're on the subject now. So yeah, as I said, you go through all these kind of questions and then you pitch your track. So I don't think you've got a lot of characters to be able to pitch. So you do have to make sure it's really specific. But here they're kind of looking at kind of who did you write it with, when did you write it, what's it about, and they want a lot of context behind the track. So maybe if you have sold out a gig, or you've kind of been on editorial playlists before, this is a great way to kind of get their ears kind of listening and get them on the radar and read on and want to know more about the track. So you have to make sure that the blog is really, really the pitch is really on point, and that don't just click on the multiple options. Don't just click everything thinking, I want as much expenditure as possible, because it's not going to work, because it will just be like, who is it meant to go to, because it gets sent to different creators.
Exactly.
So that's definitely something that you need to keep in mind as well. Some things that I found really helpful when I was doing some research. So it does, if you've got some write-ups and you've got some blog coverage, you've got some magazine coverage, anything like that, any press, it doesn't mean that they won't listen to it, but it does definitely help if you've kind of got that credibility and you've got that buzz around you. So definitely do be pitching to bloggers and stuff maybe a month before, 2 weeks before the release, and you also need to do this pitching to Spotify before the release comes out. So this is probably the only playlist creator that you have to do it before the release, because they just need to make sure that on release day, they can be sending it out to these playlist creators as well. But Spotify themselves have said it's all about the pitch, as I've said, so it is really important. And then, so what they do is if you pitch before the release, obviously they'll send the track out on release day. You'll be on release radars, they'll be on daily Discover Weeklies and things like that, and algorithmic playlist, which is great, and they can really boost your streams up as well. But also what they'll do after the track has been released, so let's say it's been out for a month, second month it's absolutely booming, it's just absolutely rocketed. Maybe you've had some, you've been pitching to music supervisors, you've got your songs on Love Island or something, and your streams have just spiked. They do have a look at kind of the data after the release as well, which is really, really important, and more reason why you need to get people to pre-save the links also, just so you're boosting the Spotify algorithms. You're kind of, people can see, the playlist creators can see that there's a buzz around you, and then they can also add the playlist, your song to the playlist after the release as well. So you don't just kind of think, oh, they didn't reply back, I'm not going to get on one. It is all about kind of pre and post release also. When you're doing the pitch, give it context, as I say, give the story, when, what, why, how, use a 5 W's, I think it is, 4 W's and a H. And just kind of, people want something that they can relate to. They want the story, they want to know why it's important to you and how it can relate to them. Why should they listen to it? There's so much music out there and it's very difficult, but as an artist, it's your responsibility to let people hear it and make people want to hear it and kind of have it set aside from the other releases on that day. So make sure you're giving it some really, really good context. As I said before, they have local playlists, which is great. It's a horrible question, and you'll hear it throughout the whole kind of your whole career, and it's a horrible question, because you think, oh God, but why should they care? Why? And this is what you have to do in the pitch. You have to make people care. This is what you have to do in just general. You have to make people care about your song.
Don't beg. Never beg.
No. Don't be like, oh, please listen. Yeah. But
just
give them something.
Yes.
Yeah. Give them something that is going to be like, I want to check it out. Maybe it's a behind the track video, or maybe it's, you've worked with a great producer and they share it on their socials or something like that. Just kind of, give it some credibility. Only send one track. Be brief and personal, be clear, and be yourself when you're pitching. Don't be like, I don't know, you see it all the time, when a PR company is pitching. It does work if it's a PR company, but if you're pitching the track yourself, don't be like, so for example, my surname's Lise, don't be like, Lise has done this in the last week, when really it's me pitching it. So I would say I would be. You can, people can just tell. So yeah, just be yourself. And if you're a funny character, if it goes into a brand, I guess, have a bit of a laugh in there. Make sure it's personal and make sure it's kind of straight to the point as well. So I'm going to stop.
Just be authentic. Just be real.
Authentic. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to stop talking because I'm sick and tired of my own voice. So I'm going to pass it over to you. I'm sure everybody else is.
What are we saying? I've been listening to you for so long. I forgot what we're talking about. I forgot the question.
You've been chatting all afternoon.
No, but I love it. I love it when you give your peace of mind and your information, which is really, really good. you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can I
So we're
ask a
looking
question again, please?
repeat. So we're looking at editorial playlisting, so Spotify. So how can an artist feature and get the best opportunities and best what's the word,
Well, I don't think,
optimization on getting on
yeah, I don't
Spotify.
think there has been a point that you have not touched. I don't think there is anything that I can add to it. I'm being straightforward, you
Oh
know.
no,
No, but it's good. It's really good. You touched every single point, and all I can say is I just agree with everything that you said. You know, there is nothing else I can say to add value to it.
okay,
Everything you said was spot on. So yeah, I agree with you.
perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so last but not least, the question is, so you've touched on it previously in some of the other questions, but artists, I believe, are told all the time not to pay for playlisting. Now, this can be really, really confusing because a lot of the playlist creators do want money for it, and they get told don't pay for a blog, don't don't pay for website coverage or anything like that. Whereas on some occasions, this is the only way they're going to get featured. So how can an artist, I guess, make sure that the service they're paying for is going to be actually, it's going to be organic, it's not going to be bought. So I think an example of this is some people will say, oh, pay 50 quid, let's say just a random figure, pay 50 quid and I'll give you the top spot on Spotify, and you'll get 100,000 streams or whatever. And people say, well, how can you guarantee that? How do you know it's organic, type thing? So obviously from our point of view, yes, paying for playlisting is sometimes necessary, but what would your advice be in terms of making sure that the money that you're sending is going to be used correctly?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to remind the first point that I've mentioned earlier in the chat. I did say there are certain websites who do actually show you if the followers of the website are real, are they organic or not. Now, as I said earlier, I can't really mention the name of these websites because it goes into promotion. We can't do that. But there are those kind of websites which will actually show you if the followers are real. Now, if you can't come across to any kind of these websites and you're just going to go ahead, you're just going to take a shot in the dark and hope for the best, that's cool. You pay whatever money they demand, you got the funds, all right, let's go. Pay for it, you pay for it, you pitch your songs, accept it. All you have to do after your song has been pitched and accepted, all you have to do is you have to go, you can't really see it right now, but yeah. So yeah, Spotify for artists, as we all know it. Go, click on the song and start checking out your analytics. It shows streams within the last 28 days, and then goes sources of streams. Very, very important. This is how you will know. If you can't come across their website, if you can't find one that shows you if the listeners, the followers of the playlist are real, then after your song has been pitched and accepted and now it's on the playlist, you got to check out sources of streams. Where are my players coming from? Or my artist Spotify. And then top countries for the song. Which countries? Is it coming from one country, which is fake? Or is it coming from multiple countries, which are from different parts of the world? Or which sources of streams? It says your profile and your catalog, listeners' own playlist and library, other listeners' playlist, Spotify algorithmic playlist, the Spotify editorial playlist, and other blah blah blah. So this is the way, the only way afterwards you can actually find whether if your streams are real and are not bots, or they are bots and they're fake.
Yeah. So you're saying that an artist should, if there's a playlist that is asking for, say, 25 quid, small amount of money really, that it's okay to do that.
It's not the end of the world. You can try it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think kind of going off that, you know, I think if you've pitched to a playlist, say, you know, it's your second time, you've got a second release, you're pitching out there, and you have found really, really good success with a playlist before, 9 times out of 10, you know, because you've already built that relationship, they know that you've been featured in them before, they're more likely to play your to put a track in a playlist, maybe at a discount as well. So again, building that relationship can be really, really beneficial. I know I've used a playlist creator multiple times, and the results have just been really, really great for me. Because you're kind of coming back, you're giving them that return of business as well, and showing them that continuous support, then there's discounts there that are really great for you as an artist, but also really great for them, because it means that you're returning and you're happy with their services. So yes, playlist creators are real, and you know, if they're going to make a business out of it, that obviously it's going to be very different to, rather than if, you know, you just created a random playlist, and, you know, just for having in your car or while you're at work or whatever. But there are people out there that do it as a business and as an income stream. So treat them with the same respect that you would a blogger, a journalist, anything like that. And go get out there, go pitch the playlist and go get them streams up and have fun with it, because that, you know, I say it all the time and it sounds really cringe, but it is all what it's all about. And you know, it can all be very, very daunting and feel a bit like, oh my god, what am I doing? But the more you do something, the more easier it will be, and the more kind of experience and opportunities you'll see from it. So yeah,
definitely.
So to conclude, I guess, Spotify playlist creators, you can find anywhere. You can find them on third party, you can find them on Instagram, Spotify, any social media. Try and email if you can. They're really important for your credibility and for your exposure. And also always pitch to Spotify editorial 2 weeks before. And you can pay for playlisting. Obviously, if they're asking for, I don't know, $1,000, you have to kind of see.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
don't
basically don't.
Don't pay.
Make sure it's fair for you as an artist, and always, whenever you're looking at you know, promo or, you know, radio plugging or anything like that, where it's a paid service for you to promote your music on, make sure that you think it's a fair price for you as an artist, or for any artist as well. So that would be my advice. Have you got anything else to add, Serhat?
No. We've talked about, we touched base with every single point that wasn't necessarily and had to be touched, and we talked about every single detail. I believe we have given a decent amount of information, like we do every single week. All I want from our people who are following our podcast and listening, just to take our advices and our advice, and then act accordingly. You know, we are trying to give you guys good information coming from our very own experiences, and all we're trying to do is help you out. So all you can do is just do and listen to what we've got to say and act accordingly, and go and get out there.
And show us some support and like and subscribe too.
Definitely. That's the only way you can support us. Just subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, as they would say.
Leave some comments, share it around, and let us know if you have any ideas for future podcasts. We are always willing and open to doing them. So yeah, anything that you guys need, let us know. We're here to help at any time. And thank you very much for listening.
Indeed. Have a lovely weekend and see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.